Welcome back to the baseball podcast. I'm here alongside Tom Quirk, unfortunately.
Dude.
But importantly, you're not just stuck with us. We're having the great Daniel Álvarez-Montes on to come on. He's the founder of El Extrabase. I'm not going to try and do it with an accent. It's a Spanish language baseball outlet, and it focuses specifically on Venezuelan players. Daniel's from Venezuela. So it was really interesting to talk with him about baseball in Venezuela, the World Baseball Classic, obviously, what he's got going on, his connections to the Marlins and MLB and everything. So it was a really cool chat. We also just got sort of into WBC stuff in general, which obviously, we love to get off in the weeds about. So it was a really cool chat. So yeah, that's what we have coming up today. Anything you need to talk about, Tom?
Um, I guess just before this we were talking about that I found an Adam Dunn errors compilation that I watched, and it was an absolutely brilliant watch. It doesn't have anything to do with Daniel or Venezuela, but I'd like to plug that because I want people to have some joy in their lives. So let's get that out there. Watch the Adam Dunn errors compilation. I'll try to post it on our Twitter account.
I like
Which
this.
speaking of our Twitter account, where can we be found on Twitter, Ethan? Let's say we were Waldo, okay, or Carmen Sandiego, and it was a Twitter-based game. Where would you find us?
Tom, we could be found at the Baseball Pod 2
And you know what? It's not
on
nearly
Twitter.
as hard as finding Waldo or Carmen Sandiego. It's very easy. You just type it in.
Now that I say that, is that right?
Dude, please don't get this wrong.
Let me double check. No, it's right. At the
There we go.
Baseball Pod 2.
There we go. Thank God.
And then you could also reach out to us via email
Mm.
at thebaseballpod@gmail.com. So
Not the
feel
baseball
free.
pod too. Don't get it
No,
twisted.
no, we're the only one.
Yeah.
Please feel free to shoot us an email, to send us a follow on Twitter. I suppose you can't just go around messaging us on Twitter anymore because that's
But we'll
paywalled.
follow back. We're
Yeah, we'll
not
follow
paying.
back. Yeah,
We're,
why not? We'll follow back. We don't have standards.
and I think more
Um,
importantly, if you want to talk to somebody who's relevant, okay. I would we're gonna have Daniel plug his pluggables at the end of the episode, and I would give them a follow too, so you can really get it. You can really get some actual knowledge instead of us talking about Adam Dunn error compilations.
the pluggables.
The pluggables. That's like the Expendables sequel, or like the Uncrustables.
No. Greek philosopher uncrustably.
We were sitting around turning words into Greek names. So there's the standard ones like Popsicles and like Bicycles, and like, we're doing like Bionicles, and then I said Uncrustables.
That's the
So
winner.
he's our favorite Greek philosopher. There's Socrates, there's Aristotle, and then there's Uncrustables. So be on the
Yeah,
lookout for
yeah.
friend of the podcast, Uncrustables.
Yeah, Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, and Uncrustable.
Yeah, it's the big
Yeah,
four.
but Bionicles is really funny too.
No, it's really the big four. That's sort of like the Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, Roy Oswald, Cole Hamels of Greek philosophers.
So
Yeah.
so
So
Bionicles is Joe Blanton, is what you're saying.
no, Bionically it can be like Aaron Nola. That's like the new generation.
Oh, I thought you were saying it's even worse than it's like Jonathan Pettibone.
Oh no, it's Tyler Cloyd. We sort of accidentally drifted into a game of rando terrible Phillies Elmer Dessens here, which I don't mean for us to do. I'm sure it'll be coming because the season's coming, but yeah. So yeah, listen to our interview with Daniel. It's a great time.
No, I like that you're just commanding people now. Listen.
Yeah, listen to it right now.
All right, now we're recording.
Yeah, welcome back to the baseball podcast, guys. We just started the podcast and we're not recording, so we're starting all over again. That's why we're all laughing right now. But Yeah, so with us today is Daniel Alvarez. Daniel, why don't you tell our adoring fans a little bit about yourself? Why don't you plug yourself?
Yeah, no, thank you, Tom and Ethan. I'm born and raised in Venezuela, living in Miami. I'm the co-founder and director of El Extrabase, a Latin media outlet dedicated to cover baseball here in South Florida, but also in Latin America. And we've been covering baseball since 2018, going to every All-Star game and World Series since then, and several other events like World Baseball Classic, the Caribbean Series that just finished a couple hours ago here in Miami, and yeah, focusing on Latin players, but baseball in general.
So how did it get started? Did you just decide, hey, I'm going to move to the US and cover baseball, or was there a little more thought than that?
No, I mean, I came as a teenager when I was 17 years old. I'm 26 now, so I've been living here for almost 10 years, and we just moved because of the political and social situation down there in Venezuela. I
Sure.
mean, as a family, we decided that it was the best for us to come to the US and live here and start our lives here again. So our parents took that. My parents took that decision, and I think it was the best possible decision because of the quality of life that we'd have here in the US, specifically in Miami, where we feel so close to home, and we have so many the Venezuelan people and family members here that have been very helpful and supportive. And I think that's been a key for my family and for us in our personal uh, growth here as a professionals, as human beings, and it's been great, and I'm very thankful with this country for that.
That's awesome, man. That's great to hear. It's the American dream, really.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, absolutely. So how did the website get started? El Extra Base. Did you just start? I know I said it like a gringo. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
did you just start writing online and it took off, or
yeah. I mean, I started working with a Venezuelan local station here in Miami, covering the Marlins. I started in 2017 and right into the first couple of weeks of 2018, and then it was a small station. They were not paying too much attention to sports, and they decided not to have the show anymore, just having me as a sports anchor. And I felt that that was not what I wanted to do 100%. So I started doing more things on the personal side with El Extra Base because we already had the Instagram account posting information about Venezuelan players only, but we had a pretty good base of like amount of followers by that time, and so I said, okay, we have something to start here, and me and my friend Julio Munoz, who was working with me in that station, we decided to start the brand and the outlet like as a formal outlet. So now is a now it's our business. We have the website, we have the YouTube channel, we're on every single social media platform, and we've had several. The amount of followers we've gained since then, it's been unreal for us. So that's how we started, and I think we established ourselves pretty good among the Latin American community.
so then how did it progress? So then I'm assuming you just got media credentials and started going to games, or
Yeah, yeah, because I was covering before with these stations, the Marlins already knew what I was doing, because I was there for every single game from the second half of 2017. I went to every single game at Marlins Park, back then now Lone Depot Park, and so they knew that it was like a serious job, and that I was not just there to have credentials and to access players, but for
sure.
fun. I mean, I obviously I love to do it. I love to be around, but because baseball is our passion, and we love to be around. But I know that some people just get a credential and they just start getting like selfies on the field and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was not at all about that. So um, yeah, they knew about it, and they really supported us a lot that first year. They gave us all the access we needed, even more than what we were expecting, and that was pretty helpful at the beginning because um, that's the way we got to I mean, other teams saw what we were doing, And that's how we started getting more and more credentials and more access, not only in Miami, but in other stadiums around and for spring training and stuff like that.
I want to jump into the topic of relevancy right now. Can you explain to people, and honestly me too, because I'm not very well versed in it, what the Caribbean Series is, how it works, and what just happened?
So the Caribbean Series is an annual tournament that has the champions of every professional league in the Caribbean. It started with the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. And now more teams or more leagues have been invited, like Panama, Nicaragua, Curacao, we've had Colombia, Cuba, and it's an annual tournament that it's supposed to be a clubs tournament, not a national teams tournament. But the way it's now been, sold for marketing purposes, it's seen now like a national team tournament, more like WBC, because it's more attractive. If I told you like, hey, the Dominican and Venezuela are going to play tonight, that rather if I say, oh, Tiburones de la Guaira and Tigres del Licey, because people will go like, who the hell are those?
Right, yeah.
So, but yeah, so it obviously involves a lot of country pride, because at the end of the day, it's a representation of the country, and that's why it's so important for people in the Caribbean, in Venezuela, in the Dominican, including myself, of course. And what happened last night was very special, was very good, because it was the finals at Lone Depot Park with a record of paid attendance for a Caribbean Series game. Even more, they had even like 600 more tickets sold for this game than the finals between Japan and the US in the WBC finals.
Oh, no way.
Wait, really? Wow.
Yeah, with Ohtani, with Trout, with Mookie, Yoshinobu, Yamamoto. I mean, all those guys.
Right.
Yes, last night, a game that had Emilio Bonifacio in center field for the Dominican, that had Hernan Perez at third base for Venezuela, had draw more people, and it was way more exciting. I'm not gonna say that it was more exciting than the Trout against Ohtani at bat, because I'll be lying.
Right.
But the atmosphere was way better than that last night. So yeah, it's there's a lot of, as I said, pride involved, and especially for Venezuelan fans. We know we've had so many great players for so many years, but for some reason we haven't been able to be as successful as we would like in the Caribbean Series. So this was our 8th title, but the first one in 15 years. So
okay.
A long, but for Tiburones in specific, the team I've been rooting for my whole life, they won their first championship in Venezuela in 37 years. And then they came to Miami and won the whole damn thing. So it was pretty damn cool to see that last night.
Yeah.
It's a good year to be a fan, huh?
Absolutely.
That is awesome. So, and again, I'm sure a lot of people watching this probably know this already, but I'm not super well versed in it. So the teams that are competing, like the Venezuela team, is just the team that won the Venezuelan League's championship, was then like promoted to play in the Caribbean Series, correct? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So it's not all Venezuelan players on that team.
Correct. Like Yasiel Puig was on that team, for example.
Okay.
Right.
Sure.
And Yasiel is from Cuba. Yadiel Hernandez was the number 5 hitter on the Dominican team. Yadiel is from Cuba as well. The Dominicans had an American pitcher pitching in the semifinals 2 days ago. So yeah, that's why it's not a national team. Like in WBC. So yeah, it's a clubs event. So that's why you can have, it's like the equivalent I can think of in, let's say, soccer, when the Champions League go and play. You see Real Madrid playing against Liverpool, let's say. So you have a team from England, a team from Spain, and players from all over the world.
Okay.
I mean, so it's even a little bit like that in MLB. I mean, like, not everybody on the Phillies is from Philadelphia. I don't know if anybody on the Phillies is from Philadelphia right now. You know, so yeah.
It doesn't exactly seem country-wise, like a level playing field. Like Venezuela is a huge baseball country. Colombia is, I would probably call like a mid-tier baseball country, and then Nicaragua is like a kind of a lower-tier baseball country. You know, comparatively, they all send guys to the major leagues, but there's a disparity in talent. Does that kind of grow the game in Nicaragua to be playing on the same
Yeah,
field as a team from Venezuela?
absolutely, absolutely.
All right.
I think it helps it, to grow a lot because um usually they don't see themselves in playing in those type of tournaments. What they did in the qualifiers to play and to advance and play in WBC against the Dominican, against Puerto Rico, against Venezuela, even against Team Israel, was something huge for them. And
Right.
I think that's gonna help because even though they didn't win a single game in not even in this tournament or WBC, they competed on every single game, every
Mhm.
single, except for the one against Venezuela, or Tiburones this week, where Angel Padron, a lefty that never pitched above single A, with the Red Sox and got released and pitched like indie ball, Mexican League, Venezuelan Summer League, through a no hitter, the first one in in the Caribbean,
Whoa.
72 years. Um, that was the only game Nicaragua didn't compete. But other than that, they played really good baseball, and I think this motivates more people in that country to play, to be better at. So many guys from Venezuela or the Dominican or Puerto Rico have said, "Hey, I'm able to help Nicaragua with whatever they need to help grow baseball down there," because it's a very, I mean, it's a country that has given great players to the big leagues, even though there are not that many. But Dennis Martinez, for example, El
Sure.
Presidente,
Mhm.
Yeah,
uh,
the great Chesler Cuthbert. Yeah.
yeah, the great guy.
Yeah.
Like
Philly's great JC Ramirez.
exactly, like we Erasmo Ramirez, for example, who's
Yeah.
Oh,
still pitching Erasmo. So, so many good players from there that have served as an example and as leaders in that country, and we need more of that.
mhm. It sounds like I mean, like one of the things that I'm starting to get a handle on the more we talk about like international baseball and like these tournaments is even if it's not like the World Baseball Classic or like guys going to MLB, just showing up to tournaments like this or like the European tournaments or
Yeah,
even like WBC qualifiers and just kind of
yeah,
showing that they belong there.
like I would ask people to pay attention in October or November for the Premier 12 tournament.
Okay.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
there it means nothing this year because they're not going to be baseball is not going to be playing in the Olympics in this year. Uh,
Hmm.
but for 2028, the Premier 12 serves as qualifiers for the Olympics, and some players that might be uh, prospects that are not on the 40-man roster from the US go and play there against
Hmm.
other prospects from Venezuela or Mexico, or even, I mean, the whole Japan team plays there.
Yeah.
We see them in WBC and we're like, who the hell are these people that play so good? But the first look at them, it's on the Premier 12 tournament.
Right.
And that's something very interesting to follow. Um, and I will encourage people to pay more attention to international baseball, because then we see players coming to the big leagues and we're like, wow, where the hell he came from? It's like, no, if you
Hmm.
saw like the Premier 12 or the Caribbean series or stuff like that, then they I think they'll appreciate it a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, for
Yeah.
anybody out there who watched the World Baseball Classic, they saw exactly what you were talking about because a lot of those teams are bringing up prospects to play for them. Like the British team had Harry Ford,
Yeah.
who was probably not a name a lot of people knew about, but then he played really well. And it's like, yeah, listen, there's a lot of good players out there who you can find out about because this might be your first look at them. If you
There's
watch Premier 12, it'd be the same thing.
there's a kid from Nicaragua who unfortunately didn't play this tournament. His name is Duque Hebert. Duque was the last player to join the roster for WBC. One the youngest is the youngest players among the youngest, yeah, among the youngest player in that roster. And the guy came to face the Dominican and struck out Juan Soto and Manny Machado and dominated the field Evers like nothing. He immediately the Detroit Tigers said, we're signing him.
Yeah,
Like,
we'll take that guy.
we'll take that guy. Like, we have this left on the international bonus money, whatever. And he's like, I get it, because he wasn't even expecting to play in that tournament. And then he went and dominated one of the best, I mean, the three of the best hitters in baseball. Like, it was Garrett Cole dominated. Like, Garrett Cole cannot dominate Rafael Devers the way Duque Hebert did.
Right.
That's literally like a movie plot, you know? That's like the rookie.
I was there like, what the hell just happened? I mean, this kid that nobody, not even in Nicaragua, they know him. And the guy just.
It's like the guy on the Czech team that struck out Otani. And
exactly.
They had all the pictures of him in the locker room.
Yeah. Do you know the name of the guy? Of course not. But it was something great for baseball. And hopefully one day we see Duque playing with the Tigers or whatever team in the big league. We say, oh, you know what? This is the guy that dominated Soto, Devers, and Manny.
So okay, let me ask him up, and it looks like he put up pretty decent numbers in rookie ball. So I mean, it doesn't look like it was a fluke.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you can join the list of Nicaraguan greats like Chesler Cuthbert. Sorry, I just love that name. I want to say, by the way, I want you to come on this show every single time we podcast just so you can pronounce Hispanic names for us. Because it's brutal. We're so and because like I speak Spanish on like a conversational level. Like I can talk to people. I know enough to get into a conversation I don't know how to get out of. You know what I mean? And so like I can talk with people and stuff. I just can't go backwards or forwards in time. Everything has to be present tense. But my wife lived like on the border of Mexico for a long time. And so she doesn't know any Spanish, but she can talk to, you know what I mean? Like she can like understand what I'm saying. So she's like, well, I can't speak Spanish, but I have a pretty good accent. And you can sort of speak Spanish, but you have a terrible accent. So between the two of us, we have one Spanish speaker. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's, anyway, I can edit that out.
And then what I bring to the table is I can really effectively communicate that I just don't know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
I actually the year before, 2 years ago in my men's league, I played on a team that I've talked about on the podcast before, but it was like 75% guys from Venezuela, and they would speak Spanish to me, and I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, like I don't know. I did the one guy it took me a little bit, but I pulled it out because he asked me if this was I think he's asked me if it was the inning ultimo, and I was like, wait, is he asking me if it's the last inning? I was like, I think that's what that means.
Yeah.
And I was like, see,
this is an opportunity to learn.
Yeah, it's actually so bad. I don't have any knowledge of this at all.
I have one more question for you about the Spanish language, and then we can get back to talk about baseball. I went to Disney World and I had I got in the Uber and there was this guy named Francisco and we started talking baseball in Spanish, of course. And he's telling me about how he played with Daniel Cabrera and he's this cool dude, whatever. And at one point he's got this Caribbean League game, or I don't know, a Dominican League game, I guess, on the radio. And this player comes up, this third baseman who recently signed with the Reds, Candelario. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. And I asked this guy in Spanish, I'm saying, why do you say his name Jeimer? Isn't the J, huh? Isn't that the sound it makes? Shouldn't it be Heimer? And he goes, no. And then just keeps moving. And everybody says Jeimer Candelario. I can't figure it out. Why do they pronounce the J? Nothing else pronounces the J like that.
No, I mean, it's weird because sometimes I see names that I'm like, this shouldn't be, like, for example, Venezuela last night. They have a guy named Jorgen Cabanerio, and everyone's like, every American pronounce it Jorgen because Jorge. Yeah. And then he goes like, no, I'm Jorgen. And I'm like, okay.
I mean, I'll call you whatever you want, but I just don't understand it.
Yeah. Like, but I always said, oh, Jorgen Cabanerio. And it's like, no, I'm Jorgen. I'm like, good. Whatever you think.
It's yes, okay. It makes me feel better that you don't know either, I guess.
Exactly.
I guess it does it really just come down to like, well, no, that's just my name.
Yeah, I mean, okay. It's kind of like when you meet like a white girl and it's like, no, I'm not Andrea, I'm Andrea or Andrea. You know what I mean? Like you could do a bunch of different things.
Yeah. All right, whatever you say.
Yeah. Anyway, back to baseball.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Caribbean series, talking about the WBC and everything. And obviously people think of the Caribbean and South America as a hotbed of baseball talent. And really until I started doing this podcast, I just thought of it too as South America, huge in baseball. But it's not really true. It's Venezuela's huge in baseball, right? And the Dominican Republic's huge in baseball. And Colombia is getting bigger in baseball. But like Argentina, not really. Peru, not really. You know what I mean? So
Brazil.
like, yeah. So like of that region of the world, Central and South America, what do you think are the countries that are going to explode? Maybe not explode is the right word, but are going to take a huge step coming soon.
I think Colombia is doing a pretty good job. Colombia is obviously more soccer than baseball.
Hmm.
They play baseball more to the west side, that is where they have their coast, and that's where like Harold Ramirez, Edgar Renteria, Donovan Solano, Tyron Guerrero, Gio Urshela, all those guys come from. But the way baseball is growing there, they won the Caribbean Series 2 years ago, by the way. I think it's helping a lot, and they're gonna grow. Argentina is interesting because they don't play baseball that much. They played good amount of innings in the qualifiers, but they're so good at softball that it's unreal. The way they,
Really?
yeah, men's softball, one of the best national teams in best men's softball in the world. It's Argentina.
Wow.
Huh.
Wasn't that also true of, was it Australia or New
New
Zealand that
Zealand.
had the
New
same
Zealand's
thing?
that way.
Yeah, New Zealand and the
Yeah,
Czech
what is that? I don't get it.
and the Czech Republic. We saw in WBC, but the program they have there for baseball and men's softball, it's unreal. Better than in Latin America, because they're the champions, and Argentina runner up for that tournament. So they play really good men's softball. But I think that because
Okay.
the amount of Venezuelans moving to Argentina, moving to Chile, moving to Peru, baseball is starting to grow a lot in those countries. And I think that I don't think we'll see that effect in 5, maybe not 10 years, but 15 to 20 years from now, we're gonna see the first Peruvian player in the big leagues. I know Luzardo was born in Peru, but that was
But he's a Venezuelan guy,
Yeah,
right?
he's
almost by accident. He was born
right.
there because his parents were working there for 2 years, and he had to be born there. But he's
Right.
Venezuelan. So,
He's not like a Peruvian citizen or anything, is he?
he's not. I don't think he even has the Peruvian
Yeah.
citizenship. Yeah,
Okay.
Luzardo does. I think like he probably knows it because he's a well-studied guy.
Mhm.
But I don't think Luzardo even knows where Lima is located on the Peruvian.
So sorry, now I'm cracking up. We're just throwing shade at Jesus Luzardo.
Yeah,
I
hey,
mean,
listen,
no,
Jesus,
and
listen.
he's my friend, he's my guy, and that's why I'm saying it. A guy told
Yeah,
me, "Hey, Jesus, tell me anything about Peru." No,
right.
because
Right.
that accent.
Yeah, I guess
So
that's like
okay,
if somebody asked me about like, oh, what could you tell me about, where's Little Rock, Arkansas? Dude, I
it's
don't
in
know.
Arkansas.
Yeah, I know it's in
So
Arkansas. That's all I got.
so okay, so I guess my follow-up question to that is the infrastructure there, or are you saying there's a new wave of Venezuelan immigrants having kids who are probably going to like baseball, so at some point it'll start to come along?
That's exactly what I mean. I don't think the
Okay.
infrastructure is there yet,
Okay.
but maybe there might be some building up. So yeah, but that's exactly what I think. So many like immigrants in Peru or in Argentina or Chile, and they like baseball a lot. I'm pretty sure that if you take up Caracas and Magallanes, the two most popular teams in Venezuela, you take them to Chile to play a 2-game series there, that's going to be a sold out, whatever stadium you're playing.
Okay. I think yeah, like MLB does do things like that. They'll do
Yeah,
outreach to like London or whatever.
yeah, the international tours, yeah.
Yeah, is there anything like that with like Venezuelan teams or Dominican teams?
And
They do
they're
outreach
playing
like that.
the Rays and the Red Sox are playing in the Dominican in March,
Hmm.
early March, I think. And the Yankees are going to play against the Diablos Rojos del Mexico in Mexico,
Okay.
Mexico
Oh,
City,
wow.
where the Giants and the Padres played last year.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the Astros, and I forgot who the other team is. I think like the Rockies or something like that. They're playing in Mexico series as well this year.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I know for a fact. I mean, in Venezuela, they built a new stadium in Caracas that has every facility. Like I've seen, and I've been at MLB ballparks that are not as good as Estadio Monumental in Caracas. Like
Really?
and players can tell you that. That is, I mean, this for a fact. I know I know that that stadium is more comfortable than the A's, the Rays.
Well, the A's is easy to
Yeah.
beat. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
A's is-
you know what? Well, we'll stipulate to all that. That's definitely true.
But even like Fenway, Wrigley, there are old ballparks,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and they love it. And I think that was pretty good for the country. And we might see something in the future in Caracas.
So what we were just talking about is a question that I had on my mind. So I full disclosure here, I didn't remember which country it was, but I did remember there's a country in South America that has a ton of like Japanese expats in it.
Brazil.
Yeah, Ethan's telling me it's Brazil, and now you've confirmed
Brazil.
it.
Yeah.
And I know Brazil doesn't really have like a huge presence in the baseball world. Like they've sent Yan Gomes to the majors. I think a couple other guys. But is there any like thought of like synergy there? Because Venezuela's right there, and the Japanese expats all are going to love baseball too. And
Yeah,
it just seems like an opportunity to me. I don't know.
yeah, I absolutely, and the thing is that for some reason there are not that many Venezuelans living down in Brazil, even though we're so close, like next to each other.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's something that can happen in the future, just like as I mentioned with Chile and Peru and Argentina,
Hmm.
especially with the Japanese community. And yeah, more like Yan Gomes has been huge for Brazil. Now in the Caribbean series, Leonardo Reginato, who was the first baseman for Tiburones and Venezuela,
Hmm.
he was, and I say this all the time, he was their most valuable player all year long. From day one, Leo was unreal, offensively and defensively, and I think that he should be now, like they should give him the Venezuelan citizenship. I say that all the time.
Yeah, he gets the Randy Arozarena thing. He's earned it.
Because he was so great. But yeah, I think Brazil is another interesting team. If you guys, Bo Bichette, for example, he wasn't born in Brazil, but his mom is Brazilian.
Hmm.
Right.
And Bo has said so many times, and I've asked him this twice. If Brazil ever advances to the World Baseball Classic, Bo is playing for Brazil, hands down, percent.
That's a huge get too, because there's a lot of countries who just don't have anybody like that, even if they could put a team together, you know.
Correct.
And I mean, I don't know how old Yan Gomes is anymore, but I'm sure that they have some guys in the minors, like you've mentioned. There's guys playing in the Caribbean series, so
Yeah,
I mean,
Brazil will be able to put a solid team together.
yeah, it just seems like such an opportunity there. I think who was it we talked to about before? How it's just never really seems to have taken root, even though there's so much like fertile ground there.
Yeah, it was Sean. We're talking to Sean
Was it
Spradling about
Sean? Okay,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
who you obviously you know.
Sean is Mr. International Baseball. Like he's the guy to follow for that.
Oh, he's
Oh
so
my gosh,
good
yeah.
at it.
Yeah. Watching Sean go bananas for the Caribbean series was super fun. That was when I first started realizing, like, I was like, because I always just assumed like people from those countries were interested in their team and like nobody else really cared. It seems I was wrong. You know what I mean? Because
Well, I mean,
Sean would put it out and like it would just blow up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, look at you with the ABL, you know? I mean,
Yeah, I love Australia.
you're not
baseball.
from Australia, but I mean,
Yeah,
look at how
that's
much
true.
attention you
And
pay to ABL.
I mean, the ABL had Manny Ramirez playing there a couple years ago. Like, I
Yeah.
love the league. But for example, the ABL, he mentions this, maybe not that often, but the ABL was very, very important for Ronald Acuña's progress in baseball. He played there and it was huge for him and to not only his base on the baseball side, but for his personal growth to be there in a different language, different culture, so far away from even the US and of course Venezuela.
Mhm.
So yeah, the ABL is very interesting.
Oh yeah, the ABL rocks. I love the ABL. I'm glad we got to plug it. Go watch the ABL. Well, it's over, but
It's okay.
Watch it
next
next
year,
year.
everybody
Yeah.
go.
We'll
Yeah,
watch,
everybody go
we'll
watch it.
watch
And
it
the
whenever
Caribbean series too,
And the
honestly.
yeah, I'm gonna have to watch the Caribbean series. I never even tuned in, and it's probably I would assume all the games are played in our time zone, like U.S. time zones,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, because the ABL, I got to be watching. I watched the first couple innings at like 3 a.m. and then fall asleep.
Yeah.
The Caribbean series has a lot more doable. No, it's well, actually, I'm just curious. Why was the final played in Florida? Why wasn't it played in one of the team's home ballparks?
Well, it's always like year to year it goes to like one side. I mean, one country is the host. This was the first time for Miami in 30 something years. So next year it's going to be played in Mexico, in Mexicali. Then it goes to San Juan, Puerto Rico. Then it goes to Mexico again, then to the Dominican Republic, then back to Venezuela. Then it comes back to Miami. So that's the way it goes around. Years ago, when it was only four teams with Venezuela, DR, Puerto Rico, and Mexico, it used to be like every 4 years that one uh, country, like Venezuela, then DR, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and then Venezuela again. And it went around like that.
Okay. So let me go back to the WBC if I can, unless there was something else you wanted to touch on with the Caribbean
Yeah,
series,
it's okay.
Tom.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I don't think anything's confirmed. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the speculation is right now from people like Sean and everybody else who's sort of know what they're talking about is that the WBC qualifiers will be expanded to like I don't like doubled or something, right? There's gonna be a lot more teams involved
Yeah,
next time.
more teams involved. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's gonna take a longer tournament.
I
Like
think that's awesome. I'm excited for that. But here's
Yeah.
my question.
No
I wa
downside.
I watched the qualifiers last time and it was 12 teams, right? It was two 16 pools.
Mhm.
So does that sound right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I watched that and I thought it was a lot of fun. But there were a couple of teams like New Zealand, Pakistan, France that just kind of weren't up to it. You know what I mean? Like they couldn't really handle being on the field with really good teams.
Yeah.
Who are the six new teams going to be? Like, are there countries that were left out? The one that I have in mind is the Philippines. I think kind of got shafted. I
Yeah.
thought they were going
Yeah.
to put together a
Mhm.
competitive team. But what are the teams that you think that didn't get invitations last time that you think are really going to be exciting?
The Philippines, of course, more team in Central America, for example, were left out. Obviously Panama, we saw Panama, Nicaragua going there, Argentina, Brazil, Spain, not in Latin America, on the European side, but Spain, they were playing the qualifiers as well.
Right.
We saw Germany, we saw UK, but more European teams should be there. And more Central America and South American teams should be playing there, not only Argentina, but I think that they can make some progress for that year to see what players from Chile or even not necessarily being born there, but can be. I mean, if they had the citizenship or the residence in Chile or Peru, stuff like that, they can play down there. So I think that that's going to be pretty interesting as well. We're seeing the Baseball United thing, right? With
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Dubai and Qatar. Uh, why not the teams from the from that part of the world as well? Especially if they
Yeah.
had this league now from players from those countries. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would think that if I was MLB, I f- it, I know we've talked with other people before about how sometimes it's hard to turn a cricket country into a baseball country because it's like pretty similar. But I would think like if you could get baseball to take hold in India at all, I mean, that's the second largest market in the world. I would think that you
Oh
would
yeah.
want to push there, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that's probably far away. I think as there's been what, two Indian players?
In the mine, it was the $1 million arm guys. Yeah. Although
Yeah.
there was that kid, the Blue Jays drafted that guy, Arjun Namala,
Yeah.
who's Indian.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's
so I
that's
mean,
exciting.
yeah, it's not right around the corner, but to me that would be a team that I would want to be looking at as far as, hey, listen, there's a lot of people in India.
Yeah.
That would be a huge market to expand into. And you got
Yeah.
Baseball United right there to like kind of spearhead it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I guess I was just curious because I was trying to think of teams in Central and South America, and I was like, I don't know if there are any other like competent baseball countries that haven't gotten to the qualifiers yet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really know anything about baseball in Chile. You know, I don't know anything about baseball in Peru. I don't know if they could do it. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be curious. You were at the WBC, right? You were at the Israel one, right? I don't remember what pool that was.
They won. They beat Nicaragua in the last WBC.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the only team they beat. Israel didn't do very well.
In 2017, they advanced to the second round, and it does.
Yeah.
It's very, very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome to be. I would love to be at the WBC.
Yes,
I tried to talk him into it. He didn't want to do it.
Yeah, that's something great. And let's see what happens in 2026. I don't know if Miami is going to be hosting every single round like it was in 23. Maybe it's going to be played in San Diego or Houston or San Juan. I don't know, but
right.
I mean, just the excitement level in 23 was so big, so big that I think 26 is going to be even better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like everyone. I mean, obviously, I mean 26. They're going to be older, especially Trout. But I think everyone wants to see that rematch of Trout against Ohtani. Like, why not?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we just need Trout to stay healthy for a little while.
Yeah.
Not get hurt. Be ready for that matchup. A question I just thought of, which I don't know if there's any movement on this front at all, or if it's even like legal, but like I had just thought about how like Puerto Rico puts its own team into the World Baseball Classic, even though it's technically like part of the United States. Is there any potential for like Curacao or like Aruba or one of those territories to get their own team going at some point?
I don't I just don't know how is that gonna be handled because I don't know exactly, like I don't know if it's Aruba or Curacao, which one it right now doesn't belong anymore to the Netherlands.
I think it's
Oh, so-
Curacao.
I think it's
Okay.
Curacao.
I think so.
Curacao could.
It's one of those. I'm not 100% sure on this. And that's the interesting part. Curaçao, they played the semifinals in the Caribbean Series. They were invited for the second time ever. I don't know what's this bubble here.
You're fine. We did it.
Yeah, we fixed it. Thanks,
Yeah.
production team.
Yeah. So, but they played really good baseball. And that team, they had Andrelton Simmons, they had Didi Gregorius, Jurickson Profar, Jonathan Scope, and that's
Jair Jurgens, right?
No, Jair wasn't playing.
He's not still floating around. That hurts.
But who else was there? Vladimir Valentin was there.
Was the other Profar brother afoot at the time?
The other Profar was there. The other Scope.
The other Scope, right? Charlon Scope.
Charlon Scope was there.
Yeah.
Juremi Profar was there. Hendrik Clementina was the catcher. So those are Shiron Martis was the pitcher.
Oh.
Or how about the greatest name ever? How about the greatest name ever? Sicknarf Loopstock. I know he's a Curacao guy. I don't know if he was there, but
he wasn't. But they played really good baseball.
I mean, they're good at it.
They're good. And I'm like, you know what? This could be really, really good in the future.
So I actually didn't know that Curacao is independent now.
What happened?
Curacao is independent now?
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
I was like, dude, did I accidentally ask like a super relevant question?
Well, that would really shake up the WBC.
The thing is that Curacao together with Aruba, they're even better, right? They're more interesting. You have center fielders there. If you have Aruba situation, I think Kenley from Aruba as well.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he's from Curacao.
I know he's Curacao, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Aruba is Bogarts and Chadwick Tromp.
There you go.
Yeah, the Braves guy.
But why not? So
yeah,
that could be the interesting part when you add those two to the equation.
Yeah, it would be really interesting. Because if you think about it, it would take You know, the Netherlands is usually a pretty good team in the WBC. Like they never really threaten for the final, but they're usually pretty good. And a lot of times they've moved past into the semifinal.
They made the semifinals in 17,
Yeah.
Right.
in 13, and remember when they defeated the Dominican in 2009?
Mhm.
Was that the no hitter? Was that the Chiron Martis no hitter?
Chiron was in 06.
Okay.
09. In 09,
Wasn't it like a 2-1 extra innings win or something?
something that it was a walk-off win to
Yeah.
beat the Dominican with the ball that Eric Ibar couldn't handle, and that's when they scored. When
Right.
Kenley was a catcher.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So if you think about it though, like the Netherlands has always been pretty good, but if you take away Curacao, the Netherlands probably isn't that good, you know? And then
Not at all, dude.
and
I
then
don't think they're any good
Curacao
at all.
would be pretty good. But then like what happens to Aruba? They probably wouldn't be very good on their own. Do they stick with the net? It would be interesting to see. It would really change the game.
Yeah, so it's better if they stick together and just continue like that.
Probably.
Yeah, just hey, listen, for the sake of our World Baseball Classic team, our two countries are going to have to merge. It's
Yeah.
the only way.
It's always fun to see like the corpse of Andrew Jones as the bench coach and like that sort of thing.
You gotta get
Do we have
Drew
more-
Jones out there. Is he eligible?
Sure, his dad's from Curacao. Why
Yeah.
not?
There you go. Get Drew Jones out there.
Drew Jones for Team Netherlands, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Netherlands, because we had the Netherlands guy on, Seb Visser, who's the I forget exactly what his title was, the social media guy or something. And he was explaining that their eligibility requirements were like pretty strict compared to countries like Israel and Italy, who kind of just like let anybody who's got an Italian last name play. But there were some like kind of wild theories out there of guys that like have Dutch ancestry, of like Jacob deGrom, Garrett Cole, DJ LeMahieu. Like if they went crazy with the rules, they could have a super fun team. I don't know how.
But that's the one thing that has to change. For example, you see in soccer, if a player makes his debut with the national team of one country, then they cannot play for other country, even if they have the citizenship. Like that's something that happens in WBC. We saw Marcus Stroman being the finals MVP for Team USA.
Yeah.
And this year he pitched for Puerto Rico.
Mm.
But the first year he said, DR? No, like of course I'm playing with the US. And then 3 years later he's like, oh, I'm gonna play with DR. So
Yeah, we even saw like this guy's not that relevant, but I forget what his name was. It was Ronald something, but he pitched for Team Spain.
Ronald Medrano.
Yeah, he pitched for Team Spain in the qualifiers, and then Spain got knocked out, and he like switched to what was it, Nicaragua or Colombia?
Yeah, he like defected.
Yeah, he just jumped teams. It's like, well, that is a little weird, you know.
so I think people don't pay much attention if it's like, no offense, but like Spain and Nicaragua, like
Yeah,
Right.
You know, look, it's true.
but it's not that I mean if it was Jesus Luzardo,
Yeah.
Right.
and he's like, you know what? Now next round I'm gonna pitch for Team USA. No, that can't.
Yeah, enough of that. Please. Then we
Yeah.
can only
Yeah.
take this whole Ronald Medrano rule so far.
Yeah, exactly.
See, it's one of those things where it doesn't bother me too much because it's usually guys play where they want to play. And then, later on, maybe like when the US won't take them, then they'll go play for Israel or so, like that sort of thing. Like Ian Kinsler played for Israel in the Olympics after Ian Kinsler won, the gold medal with Team
And
USA,
then-
like that sort of thing.
Then he managed Israel in this WBC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of okay with that because it's sort of like, the talent like trickles down. So it's like Ian Kinsler would be great to play for Israel, but obviously he's American, he's going to play for the US. But getting Ian Kinsler at any point in his career is really good for Team Israel. So like I'm okay with that. But it does get wonky when like the Marcus Stroman thing happens where he just decides to change.
But one thing I like, is it good when players go and play for those other teams when they're old and not as good as when they were on their prime? Because that's the other like how good is for baseball to have a great name when he's 39 years old and he hasn't been out of baseball for 2 years just because we don't have enough good players and he has to come play when he played for another team.
I think it's still good though, because if you think about it, like they had Sean Green play in the 2013 qualifiers. I'd rather watch Sean Green and go, oh wow, remember when he used to be a thing, rather than just like some single A guy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'd rather have the name value than just some
That's
scrub.
okay. But
Yeah.
you know, Sasha Green on the '06 or '09 US team. That's
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean.
that I'm okay. And because it's more attractive.
Yeah.
But they already played for another country. That's the thing that kind of. But I also understand you cannot compare soccer to baseball because soccer is way more popular and
Yeah.
Sure.
everyone pays attention. Like here, you can be a bit more flexible with that, and I get it, and that's why.
The World Cup's so much more established in like way more countries.
Absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
World Baseball Classic still has to kind of like bend the rules so that there's
To
more
get
than
talent
just
on the field. Yeah.
yeah. So it's not just we got the U.S., Japan, and the Dominican Republic. Let's see who wins.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it's what, yeah, I guess like the way I look at it, and you know, you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but like the way I view it is like peak Ian Kinsler was good enough to make you Team USA, so he's going to play for Team USA. You know what I mean? So like Israel's boxed out. If Israel has any chance to get him, it's when he's not at his peak. Let him have him. You know what I mean? Like who cares? Whatever. It is weird to see like a Marcus Stroman kind of thing though, where like he probably could have pitched for the US this year because they were rolling out like Adam Wainwright. You know what I mean? Like it probably would have been helpful to have Marcus Stroman.
Like yeah, I think he could have been better than Adam.
Hmm.
Also, I mean, he had a personal reason to pitch for Puerto Rico, and it's his family background, like coming from
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's interesting. Should we move on to Elmer Dessens? Were there any big topics we missed?
That's
All right. So our listeners, all three of them, are familiar with Elmer Dessens, but just in case, you just name the most random baseball player you can think of. And the purest form of Elmer Dessens is just naming guys, but we like to put stipulations on. And Daniel, in honor of your wasting your time with us here today, we've decided let's do a Venezuela specific one. So as long as the guy was born in Venezuela, we can say his name. I think you're going to crush us.
Yeah.
But let's see how we can do. Do you have a guy? Do you have a guy picked out, or would you like to wait?
I mean, do I have to start, or you guys have?
No, you don't have to. We can start. I got a guy.
Why don't you start?
Go ahead.
Henry Blanco.
Oh,
yeah.
Legend.
I'm like 95% sure he's that's kind of the interesting part for me and Tom. Yeah. I might say a guy, and you might go, he's not Venezuelan.
Yeah.
You know what I
mean? Did we tell? Were we recording when we told Daniel about my experience with trying to name Venezuelans, and I only named Colombians?
Yeah, we weren't recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so when me and Ethan were talking about this before the podcast, we were doing like a practice thing where I was like, "Oh, let me see if I can think of some people," and I threw names out there, and it was amazing. Every single name I threw out was Colombian. There was nobody from Dominican Republic, nobody from, I don't know, pick one. No Puerto Ricans, nothing. It was all Venezuela, all
Colombian.
people from Colombia.
Yeah,
Incredible.
I think you went Harold Ramirez. No, that guy's Colombian. All right, Jose Quintana. Nope, he's Colombian. And you went, all right, Donovan Solano.
Total rando, by the way. But Colombian.
Oh yeah,
people that probably like 50% or 60% of Colombians cannot even name, and Tom just named the whole team.
Oh yeah. Tom's over here. Sugar Ray Merriman. No. All right.
Okay. I think
Do you have a Venezuelan?
This guy was Venezuelan. I think.
Good.
I'm going with Carlos Zambrano.
Oh, Big Z, I thought, of course. He was a pitching coach for the team that just won the Caribbean Series.
Hell yeah.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Has he gotten his temper under control?
Like he was Otani before Otani, right?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
I kind of loved that era of pitch, like Micah Owings. You know what I mean? Like guys who would hit like 3 homers a year to be exciting.
Giovanni, not Gallardo. Remember him?
Oh yeah, Giovanni Gallardo.
Like he's not the Venezuelan random. No, he's like
he's Mexican, I think.
Yeah,
which are hitting really good.
Yeah, that era sort of peaked with Madison Bumgarner, and then Otani came into the league. It's like, okay, well, yeah, that's different.
Okay, so Tom, you're a Phillies fan, right?
Oh, we're both Phillies fans.
Phillies fans?
Yeah, we both are.
I think I guess I can start just naming random Venezuelan Phillies. Tomas Perez is
beautiful. Beautiful. Well done.
Like
See, now I got to try and top Tomas Perez. All right, all
Yeah, I
right.
don't
I
think
said
you're
this to
going
Tom.
to,
I
dude.
said this
That's
to Tom
tough.
earlier. I think this was the guy. I think this was the guy that blew it for Team Venezuela in the WBC. Silvino Bracho.
yeah,
Did he
Oh,
blow it? Was he the Trey Turner home run?
it was a Trey Turner
yeah,
home
that
run.
was
Okay.
Silvino Braccio.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna match that energy at all. I don't have good enough randos for this. Is it cheating if I ask if Victor Zambrano is Venezuelan?
Oh, that's so cheating. That's
But
so lame.
is he?
Yeah, he's Venezuelan. It's
He
okay.
is? Okay. Let me see if I can come up with another one. Uh is Carlos Guillen Venezuelan?
Yeah, and he's Venezuelan. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
nice.
Let me know
Nice.
another Philly, former lefty reliever, Cesar Jimenez.
Whoa.
I don't even
Is
remember that
that
guy.
You guys
Who's
know,
that?
yeah, I don't know if you guys remember. There was a play here in Miami with Christian Yelich where a pitcher tagged him with the glove and he had a ball in his on his hand. Or
that does sound familiar, yeah.
what's the other one?
Oh, yeah,
Tagged with the glove.
vaguely.
Yeah, he was on a like Yelich running to first base, and I think Cesar either tagged him with the hand with the glove and had a ball in on his hand, and then show it to the ump, and he was 100% clear that the ball was here and the glove the ball was on the other hand.
Right,
Right.
The ump called him out. There was no replay at that time. I think it was the last year without the replay,
right.
but Cesar is that one guy. So maybe look for that one.
Okay.
So if
I'm gonna have to
Yelich
look
was
that
on the
up.
Marlins, that was a dark time to be a Phillies fan. So I might have blocked it
Or
out.
a Marlins fan.
We're a Marlins fan,
Well,
that's true.
I mean, you guys had Giancarlo, I mean,
Yeah.
Yelich was good. Marcelo Zuna had some good years for that team.
I got a Marlins name. That was the Casey McGee Marlins.
Yeah. Oh
Remember
no.
Casey McGee? All right, should we do? I don't know how much time you have. Should we do like one or two more rounds?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
Let's do
having
it.
fun with
Okay.
this. All right, all
Okay.
right. Guillermo Heredia.
Cuban.
Oh,
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
oh,
oh man, I gotta rack my brain.
dude, you said that like you were like, watch this.
I was so confident.
Like, watch this,
Dang
nerd.
it. Yeah, you thought you're clever with your Tomas Perez. Geez. All right, I think I might have to go with somebody more well known. How about Freddie Garcia?
Freddie, the chief, of course.
Philly's great.
He's great, Freddie Garcia.
Oh, can
Uh-oh.
I ask a question? I don't think this guy's Venezuelan. You remember a guy named Eude Brito?
Who?
I'm gonna have to look it
That
up.
sounds like he doesn't.
It was Eude Brito. He was on like the awful Phillies. Eude Brito. I'm looking it up. Nah, he's Dominican. All right.
Okay, I have to come up with another one. Carlos Guillen, that was a total dart throw. Um, I want to say Meiser Asturias, but I'm pretty sure he's Dominican.
I said his story is Venezuelan. So
Oh, he is?
Nice.
Whoa, okay.
I said he's Cesar's brother who won a gold glove with the Dodgers.
Okay. All right, Meiser Asturias. There you go. You know what? There you go, nerd.
All right, Daniel, give me a good one. Who you got?
Henderson Alvarez.
Oh,
Oh, another Phillies great.
I know.
and the Marlins great.
And a Blue Jays great.
No hitter, Blue Jays. Yeah, my guy Hendo.
Okay, that's a pretty good one. All right. How about
We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
who's the guy who changed his name on the White Sox, the second baseman? Carlos Yolmer Sanchez. Is he Venezuelan?
Yolmer Carlos Sanchez. Yeah,
Is he
Oh.
Venezuelan?
he's one of
All
them.
right.
I would have said
Okay.
Cuban. Yolmer sounds like a Cuban.
Yolmer because there's a Yolbert Sanchez in the White Sox.
Yeah.
And there was a Holbert Cabrera
Holbert
from
Cabrera.
Colombia.
From Colombia.
Okay. I gotta come up with one more here. I gotta keep my dart throw streak intact. Is Henry Mejia Venezuelan?
Dominican.
Oh,
Rats.
I blew it. That's a great rando though. Can you come back to me? I don't want to do dead air here.
Jerry Mejia, suspended for life.
Yeah.
Yes, he was the triple PED guy. Yeah.
Triple
Honestly, Daniel, I say just rattle off a couple of Phillies as the end. Just give me a couple Phillies.
well, Bobby, of course.
Sure. He
Yeah.
should be in the Hall of Fame.
He should be in the Hall of Fame. Bobby, my guy as well. Freddie Galvis.
Oh, that's
Oh,
a
okay.
great one.
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
The guy, what am I thinking of? The guy who just won Caribbean Series MVP. Ricardo Pinto, former Phillies pitcher.
I don't know that. Who's that?
Is
Who's
that another
Ricardo
Dark
Pinto?
Times Phillies pitcher?
I don't think I know Ricardo Pinto.
Look it up.
Wait, I got one. Hold on.
Ricardo Pinto.
Is Wilmer Flores Venezuelan?
Flores Venezuelan.
Hell yeah.
Another Philly, Elvis Araujo.
Oh,
That's the best
beautiful.
one.
That
That's the best one.
He
no,
was pitching
no,
in
no, no,
the
no, no, no,
he
no.
was pitching in the Caribbean Series.
Tomas Perez is the best one.
Elvis Araujo was one of my names when we did the Phillies Elmer Dessens back at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm so happy you brought him up.
Elvis Araujo is really
It was like a 6'5" dude with throwing almost 100
Oh, I got a great Phillies name. I gotta ask. I have no idea if he's Venezuelan or not. Luis Alberto Bonilla.
No.
Ah,
What is he? Is he Nicaraguan? Is he from
he's
one of the
probably
off the
I
Dominican.
beaten
don't know where he's
paths?
from, but I'm 100% sure
I gotta
he's
look
not.
it up.
Yeah, if you're talking Nicaraguan Phillies, we're talking Vicente Padilla.
Vicente Padilla.
He's Alberto Bonilla.
I don't think
That's
he played for the Phillies. I think he was part of the Michael Young trade.
I think
He's Dominican.
he was a Philly the last year of his career. Ronnie
I think
Cedeno.
he was oh
Wait, who?
Ronnie Cedeno.
Whoa! Is Xavier Cedeno in the mix here?
No.
Ah,
It is really funny to me because like going back to the World Baseball Classic, like the U.S. Well, actually, the U.S. even had problems with its pitching towards the bottom of the roster. But like the U.S., the Dominican Republic have enough guys that they can just have a loaded team like top to bottom. And Venezuela was mostly the same way. But then you saw like the chinks in the armor of like Silvino Bracho. I always think it's really funny.
But Silvino wasn't culpable for that. I mean, he should have started that inning, not relieving Quijada, who
Well, that's
yeah.
a good name, Jose
Didn't,
Quijada.
yeah, didn't he like walk the bases loaded or something?
he hit JT. And when he hit JT, I'm like, this. I mean, what is he doing? Like,
Right.
but yeah, that was some poor communication between the bullpen and the dugout.
Yeah, I get
They
that.
needed that Carlos Zambrano wisdom on that team.
I have like gonna be traumatized for life because of Trey Turner. Like I love the dude. He's one of my favorite players to watch. But yeah, that really crushed me.
Well, did it make you feel any better when in that game in Miami in July or June or whatever, when he just let the ball roll under his glove to lose it in extra innings?
So bad because I interviewed him right before the game.
Oh, you cursed him.
And I said,
You got him back. There you go.
guys gonna hate me for life. Players are like that. It's like if they talk to you that day and they do that, they go like, "You're bad luck." Like,
Yeah, they're like that.
They're superstitious.
Must have been Daniel.
Honestly, I'm a huge Phillies fan. Like I live and die with the Phillies. The Phillies got screwed that game. Like Trey Turner got screwed. Like a lot of people got screwed. The biggest victim of that game was Dylan Covey. He was finally going to get a save. He pitched well in a baseball game, and Trey Turner ruined it for him. That was really a shame. Can I end us with one good Venezuelan? And the player is not like he was a good player, so he's not that random. I think this guy's like a mayor somewhere now. Maglio Ordonez? Isn't he like politically active now?
he was.
Am I making that up?
Yeah, he was very active. It's hard for me to talk about Maglio or Carlos Guillen because like they were so good. So I mean,
All stars.
Maglio was unreal, and I love him as a hitter, and But at the same time, I mean, of course, they for some reason, well, the reason was to get more money, and they made a shit ton of money in contracts.
Right.
Like then they went and supported the government, and we know it is a dictatorship because of guys like
Oh, I see.
Right.
for
Okay.
example.
It's a
like
hot topic.
They're like
Yeah,
government
so
shills now.
I respect a lot of their careers, and as a sports journalist, I always have to talk about that, and it's great, and two of the great Venezuelan hitters of all time. But at the same time, if you go around in Venezuela, you say, "Oh, Maglio was whatever." People don't like him down there because of that.
Right.
That's
Oh.
We have some of that with, guys like Kurt Schilling and
exactly.
like John
It's the
Rocker and
same
all.
thing, yeah, with Kurt, for example. So
Yeah.
That's a shame. That actually sucks.
it's a shame because this always happens when you go to a gala. When you say something about Kurt, and maybe Kurt's fans will go like, "Yeah, but you shouldn't mix politics with baseball." I'm like, I'm not the one doing it. He's the one doing it. Like
Right.
they say, "Oh yeah, we shouldn't," because with Magli it happens all the time, and why outlets don't like to talk about Magli is because of it. And they go like, "Yeah, but we should not involve politics with baseball." I'm like, "I'm sorry, the one that is the mayor is him."
Mhm.
So
Yeah, you didn't run for mayor.
like
Yeah.
he like he involved it first than us, So
Yeah.
that's the one thing.
Yeah, that is it, man. I feel bad. I thought I was just bringing up something funny. I
No,
didn't
no,
realize it was
no.
going to be a bummer.
You don't have to feel bad about it. But
Well,
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
happened.
now
Well, should we?
people learn. I mean, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. I thought it was just fun trivia. I didn't realize that he was like a sellout. I hate that.
It's okay.
Well, we're on that note. Daniel, this has been great. I'm really glad
Yeah.
we could talk about this. Let's do it again soon. Maybe leading up to the WBC qualifiers, we should do it or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's in the summer, right?
Whatever you guys need.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a year and a half, I think. But
Okay.
this has been super fun. Why don't you go ahead and plug where people can find you, what you got going on, everything.
Yeah, at Daniel Alvarez EE on Twitter /X, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
And at El Extrabase, and you can find everything there. So thank you guys for having me. I'm a Marlins fan, but I love the Phillies. I have so many great friends there, and I love Citizens Bank Park like crazy. And yeah,
And Elvis Arajo.
Yeah.
and Elvis Araujo, but Jose Alvarado better, I think. So
And Jose Arajo,
yeah,
yeah.
he's like a brother to me. So yeah, I'm rooting for him all the time, and for Rangers. So yeah, thank you for having me, guys, and hopefully I get to talk to you guys soon.
Yeah,
Cool.
dude, this has
Thank you
been a
for coming
blast.
on.
Thanks so much for coming on, man. We'll do this again.
Thank you.
All right, take it easy, brother.
All right. See you later.
Daniel, thanks so much for coming on and for educating us not only about Venezuelan baseball and the World Baseball Classic, also about the Spanish language. It's been nice to learn how to pronounce things somewhat effectively now.
Yeah, this is sort of an emerging theme on the podcast, which is us versus pronouncing things in other languages.
Yeah, we are not undefeated.
Yeah, I really kicked it off strong talking to Baseball International, trying to read off the names of the Japanese roster. Famously, I think I got one of them right. No, two. You got to give me credit. I pronounced Shohei Ohtani right.
Yeah, that's true. There you go.
And
Lars
I don't remember.
Lars Nootbaar, you nailed.
Well, who knows? Who knows? We haven't talked to
True.
anybody who speaks Dutch yet. So
That's a good point.
but yeah,
That's-
so that's another that's an emerging trend to follow here on the baseball podcast. Feel free to send us in words and names in other languages, and we'll try to pronounce them.
Yeah. You'll be damned if you get a Greek philosopher's name wrong, though. Like Uncrustables.
Oh yeah, no, I'll nail that. No problem. You send in, there was another one that I came up with recently. It wasn't Uncrustables, but it was sort of in the same like vein.
Popsicles is funny too.
Or like Marblies,
No. It's got to have like the extra syllable.
Yeah, Popsicles is sort of like that's sort of the origin story. I didn't come up with that one, but then came up with other ones like Bicycles, Unicycles.
No. Popsicles.
Yeah. But yeah. So again, feel free to send us in words in other languages, and we will read them live on the podcast. And thank you again to Daniel for coming on the podcast, speaking his language and our language perfectly.
Yeah, both more effectively than us.
Yeah, that's a title we'll never hold.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess until next time, I think we got a nice change of pace. We're going to be heading over to Europe for our next episode, so be on the lookout for that one too.
I like that we're like Sly Cooper now, like just different, you know what I mean? Each episode is in a different
Yeah,
location.
dude, it's where in the
Yeah.
world is Carmen Sandiego?
It is.
Where are we
I
going
will say
next? Going to
go
Prague.
follow go follow Daniel on Twitter at Daniel Alvarez EE and go check out El Extrabase. So should I try it once? El Extrabase. How'd I do?
I don't know, dude. I mean, you look at me. Do you think I'm like an expert on this?
I have zero accent. Anytime I try and speak Spanish to somebody, well, I shouldn't say try because I can sort of do it. But anytime I speak Spanish to people, I'll just look at them and well, first I have to because as soon as somebody knows that I kind of speak Spanish, it's just off to the races, and I have to look at them and go no rapido, and so they slow down. Yeah,
Despacito.
yeah, and so I'll look at him, and you know, and inevitably they'll kind of look at me and be like, oh, you know, donde tu aprendas? Where did you learn? And I'll be like, oh, en escuela, you know, we'll start talking about whatever, and then I'll look at him and I'll inevitably go, you know, no estoy bueno, pero lo intento, right? I'm not good, but I'm trying, and they'll go, oh, no, you're good, thank you, you know, whatever. And usually people appreciate that I'm trying, and so they'll go, no, you're doing good, and I'll just look at him and I'll go, no bueno, pero lo mejor de los gringos, I'm better than the white people, and that always gets a laugh out of them. So that's
good.
Yeah.
You know what? I like that you're coming with those stock jokes when you talk to people who speak Spanish. You're like, I have it written down on an index card so I never forget it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I'm kind of like the dad who meets every single kid. Goes, how old are you? 5 years. Driving yet? You know what I mean?
Yeah, or the classic white guy when they forget their keys and like, well, won't be getting far without these. Yeah.
I forget my head if it weren't screwed onto my neck.
Yeah, they're all classics.
Yeah, I'm this close to hearing somebody talk about extended warranty and going, that's how they get you.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's going to be bad. That I think the podcast would come to a close in that situation. I do want to make a recommendation if you are going to send in languages for us to mispronounce. Polish seems like a really good candidate.
Oh my gosh.
I'll have a lot of fun with that.
Can you say the city again? Because I want to call it Wroclaw.
Oh, Wrocław.
What is it? WROCLAW?
Yeah. I became aware that Polish is not pronounced the way that it looks in English. And it seems like it would be a great time to try to read some of these live on the podcast. So
that would be fun.
I think we should make a new segment where we try to learn a new language on the podcast. Learn Urdu, you know.
We should do that, actually. That's actually a good point. Like, we should, like, whatever the nation is that the person we're having on is from, we should look up, like, the prime minister and just try and say their name.
I feel like that could go wrong really quick. Like,
yeah, maybe.
You know, like, listen, you know.
Yeah, they got to have a sense of humor, I guess, but.
Yeah, like, if I was going to try to pronounce well, no, Poland's easy because the prime minister of Poland's name is Donald Tusk. So, you know, it's a pretty easy one, but, like, if it was a guy with there's a guy with a really Polish name, like I have no idea how offensive it could get.
Like Stanislaw.
If I was just going off the dome, dude, who knows? If I just freestyle it. But you know what? Maybe no. Actually, I think you're right, because I think that's like the point.
That's what this podcast needs.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you know what? That's what we'll do. We'll do us learning languages one word at a time here on the podcast. So feel free to send stuff in. Follow Daniel on Twitter and pay attention to him because he's got great things going on. He hangs out with players, which we don't.
Yeah, which we don't.
Yeah, we wish we could do that. But yeah,
one day.
So listen, it's with a heavy heart that I report a change in the status of a friend of the podcast, which is that his name is not Dan Ugla anymore.
Oh, easy.
And yeah, it's tough. It's been really hard on the family. You know, we're just really getting through it one day at a time. But I would say that if he were still with us in his in his final form as Dan Ugly, I think he would want you guys to know that he will catch you on the next episode of the baseball podcast. So, keep that close to your hearts going forward. And we will see you again very soon.
When we return.
Yeah, when we return.